The fire crackled, making the shadows around me dance. I shivered and pulled my coat tighter. The forest was alive with sounds. Small animals scurried in the undergrowth. An owl hooted far away. I held up my phone, the screen shining on my face. Just a few more minutes, I mumbled to myself, then I'll pack up. I was recording footage for my nature blog. It was a beautiful, clear night. Stars twinkled above the trees. A low growl echoed through the trees. I froze, my heart pounding. It couldn't be, could it? Legends whispered of a creature that haunted these woods, a creature that hunted people who wandered too far. I told myself it was just a story. Another growl, closer this time. I shone my phone's light around the campsite, my breath getting stuck in my throat. Two glowing red eyes pierced the darkness. Something moved incredibly fast, a dark shape, impossibly quick and silent. I scrambled back, dropping my phone. The screen went black, leaving me in darkness. I could hear its heavy breathing, smell the stench of decay. Then a terrifying shriek split the night. It was close, too close. The library was silent except for the quiet hum of the lights. Dust danced in the light beams, showing rows and rows of ancient books. Professor Elmwood, a man who had spent his life studying the unknown, sat hunched over a weathered book. His eyebrows furrowed as he scanned the faded text. He adjusted his glasses and traced the lines with a wrinkled finger. "The bloodsucker," he muttered to himself, "a creature of shadow and instinct." The book spoke of a being that lived for blood, possessing strength and speed that defied nature. It was said to be drawn to fear, its senses heightened by the smell of terror. Elmwood had dismissed it as mere superstition, something people made up. But recent events had made him question his logical mind. The disappearance of the young blogger, the strange tracks found near the campsite, the whispers in the village. They all pointed towards something evil lurking in the shadows. The normally peaceful village was gripped by fear. The disappearance of the blogger had frightened everyone. The news spread quickly, carried on the wind that rustled through the trees. The elders, their faces etched with worry, gathered in the village square. They had heard the stories, dismissed them as silly tales, but now they could no longer ignore the threat. Men sharpened their tools, turning farming equipment into weapons. Women hung garlic and herbs around their doors. Their strong smell meant to keep evil away. Children huddled close to their mothers, their eyes wide with fear. The village priest, Father Michael, moved among them, his presence a calming force in the growing storm. He sprinkled holy water, the droplets shining like scattered diamonds. A prayer escaped his lips, a plea for protection against the darkness that threatened to consume them. The mouth of the cave yawned open like a wound in the earth. A cold, damp wind whistled from its depths, carrying with it the stench of decay and the faint metallic smell of blood. The entrance was covered in shadow, the sunlight seemingly pushed away by the darkness that lived within. Thorny bushes reached out like grasping claws, guarding the entrance to the lair. The ground was littered with bones, picked clean and bleached white by the sun, a chilling reminder of the creature's brutal nature. Deeper inside, the cave narrowed into a winding tunnel. The air grew heavy, thick with the musk of the unknown. The walls were slick with moisture, and strange glowing fungi cast an eerie green light. This was a place of primal fear, a place where nightmares were born. The suburbs were peaceful and calm, a world away from the fear that gripped the village. Houses stood bathed in the warm glow of streetlights, their windows reflecting the peaceful night. Inside one such house, a young boy, Alex, lay fast asleep in his bed. His room was a mess of toys and clothes showing how much energy he had. Unbeknownst to Alex, a shadow detached itself from the darkness outside his window. It moved silently, gliding across the lawn like a ghost. Its glowing red eyes, like burning embers, stared at the second-story window. The creature pressed its face against the glass, its cold breath fogging the surface. It studied the boy, its senses alert to the steady rhythm of his sleeping breath. This was a new hunting ground, a place where fear was a distant whisper. But the creature could smell the boy's innocence, his vulnerability, and it found the scent intoxicating. The forest floor was covered with fallen leaves, coloured in shades of gold, red and orange. The air was crisp and cool, carrying the smell of pine and damp earth. A light mist hung low to the ground, blurring the edges of the trees and casting a strange glow upon the woods. But beneath the beauty, a sense of unease lingered. The animals were silent, their usual nighttime sounds eerily absent. The wind seemed to whisper warnings, carrying with it the faint metallic smell of blood. A weathered sign, its paint peeling, stood as a stark reminder of the danger that lurked within the woods. Danger, it proclaimed in bold, faded letters. Bloodsucker territory, enter at your own risk. But the warning went unheeded, for the creature was drawn to the scent of fear. and the forest was thick with it. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery shades of orange and purple. As darkness fell, the forest changed. Shadows stretched and twisted, taking on scary forms. The trees, once majestic and comforting, now loomed like skeletal giants, their branches reaching out like grasping claws. The glowing red eyes appeared first, piercing the gloom like burning embers. They moved silently through the trees, their gaze unwavering, predatory. They were followed by the sound of rustling leaves, the snapping of twigs, the heavy thud of footsteps. Something was hunting tonight, and it was closing in. The mist swirled around my ankles like a shroud. I stumbled through the undergrowth, my heart pounding in my chest. The red eyes had been following me for what felt like hours. I could hear the creature moving closer, its heavy breathing echoing through the trees. I tripped over a fallen branch, tumbling to the ground. My camera, forgotten in my haste, clattered onto the forest floor. I scrambled to my feet, my breath catching in my throat. The creature was upon me. I could smell its awful breath, feel its hot, rank breath on my face. Its eyes, burning with an evil intelligence, held me captive. Then a blood-curdling scream split the night. My scream,